We all love an Orange Julius. The creaminess, the lightness, the oranginess, the nostalgia. But what if you could make one of those basically identical to the one that you can get from an Orange Julius today, but it tastes better? That's what we'll do today. We'll make an Orange Julius that's fun for the whole family, so no alcohol, and it'll be the best Orange Julius that you have ever had, and I promise that it will be. And we'll make a Dirty Orange Julius too, a cocktail version that has a small tropical twist. If you're an older millennial or a Gen Xer, you probably have some fond memories of strolling through the mall with a tall and cold glass of Orange Julius in hand. The original Orange Julius was a simple drink, a drink created by Julius Freed in the 1920s. But it was his friend, Bill Hamlin, that found his orange juice to be too acidic, so they created an orange drink with cream, egg, and vanilla. And at its height, there were over 800 Orange Julius retail locations, but today, they are hard to find. But you can often find them being served in your local Dairy Queen, who has owned the brand since 1987. The Orange Julius that you can buy today is still delicious, but like most commercial products, it's loaded with ingredients and stabilizers with more than 20 different ingredients. There are and have been probably hundreds of copycat recipes online, and they all kind of do the same thing. It's orange juice, milk, vanilla, and ice. Sometimes they even add egg whites. And I assume those all would make decent attempts at an Orange Julius. I've made some of those in the past and have no complaints. But the version that we're going to make today, right now, is going to be more simple than the modern version with 20 ingredients. But it's going to be exactly the same and a match for the one that you would get today in terms of calories, sugar or bricks, protein, and fat. So it's a real copycat recipe. So we are reformatting with household ingredients, but getting all the numbers to match that authentic Orange Julius. I happen to have a Dairy Queen close by, and I ordered one just a couple days ago and came home and waited because the airiness and the texture are important, and the version I came up with ended up matching the weight and the volume of a real authentic Orange Julius. We'll be making 32 ounces or 946 milliliters, and this recipe does require a scale for grams, but I will include milliliters and ounce measurements in the description. The first thing that you will obviously need is orange juice, and people say fresh is best all the time, probably a little bit too often. But when it comes to certain juices, like in my opinion, orange juice, I kind of like this one from Trader Joe's. I actually love this one. I think this is my favorite store-bought brand. Can't find this, something like Simply Orange works. I've probably made this 3, 4, 5, 6 times in the last week using orange juice from Trader Joe's, and it's delicious. But today I'm going to try it with fresh orange juice that I just juiced and put in the fridge. So I'll have a good recollection here to see if fresh orange juice is really better than a high quality one you can get from the store. You're also going to need 2% milk. You're going to need some sugar. You'll need liquid egg whites, vanilla extract, and xanthan gum. And in addition to that, you will need some crushed ice or nugget ice. You don't want to use full ice cubes. So if you don't have crushed ice or nugget ice, use a Lewis bag or a Ziploc bag to make sure you crush up your ice first. And we are going to weigh our ice. The key to the Orange Julius texture is threefold. First, it's the egg whites, which help lighten it up. Second, it's the amount of ice we use, and it's going to be far less than a typical frozen drink. And the third thing is that we're just going to blend the hell out of this a lot longer than you would think. And that's what's going to help whip air into the drink and get those egg whites to lighten it up. So let's get started. And into a blender, I'm going to add 400 milliliters of orange juice, 100 milliliters of 2% milk, 70 grams of granulated sugar, 25 grams of liquid egg whites, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and half a teaspoon of xanthan gum. I'm now going to blend this without ice, and I'm really going to blend this like at least 30 seconds. Next, I'm going to add in 200 grams of ice, and for me, using kind of larger nugget ice here, it's about 1.75 cups. All right, let's try an Orange Julius. Cheers. It is so good. It is one of my favorite, absolute favorite things that I've ever made, whether it's a cocktail, a drink, food related. It tastes like a real Orange Julius. Now, having made this a bunch of times and using store-bought orange juice and fresh, there is an element here that tastes more like fresh orange juice, but overall, I slightly prefer the orange juice that I buy from Trader Joe's. It just has more well-rounded orangey sweetness to it than this. I think that your fresh orange juice might not be as sweet as when you get in the store. So this recipe is pretty much calibrated to what you're going to find in the grocery store, whether it's Trader Joe's or the Simply brand, or probably even something like Tropicana. It has this unique lightness. Even when you pick up the glass, you think that it should be heavier. If it's a glass of water, it'd be heavier. If it was a slushie, it would be heavier. And the texture of it is not icy. All the ice has been completely obliterated, which is what you want, which is airy yet cold, but not like a slushy brain freeze frostiness going on to it, but just that combination of orange with vanilla. And we know that from things like a 50/50 bar or a dreamsicle bar, but it is different. It just has a different experience because of the lightness of it and because of the texture of it. So you can take this recipe and adapt it with your favorite spirit and some orange liqueur and get yourself a Dirty Orange Julius. But in my opinion, it's too close to the flavor of the original, the flavor of the non-alcoholic version. And this is just much better. If you want to try this simple take to make a cocktail version of the original, I'll leave a recipe in this episode's description, but I've come up with something that's a little bit different, that uses strawberries and a little bit of passion fruit, that kind of leans into the smoothie style you might find at an Orange Julius. It's going to be more like a smoothie slushie than this one, but it's still going to have, I think, the DNA of an Orange Julius without being too close to the original. I'm going to start with 210 milliliters of orange juice, 93 milliliters of 2% milk, 43 grams of granulated sugar, 30 milliliters of passion fruit syrup, that's 1 ounce, 23 grams of liquid egg whites, 111 milliliters of white rum, 37 milliliters of an orange curacao, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, half a teaspoon of xanthan gum, and I'm going to blend this just like I did last time. Now I'll add 100 grams of ice and 150 grams of frozen strawberries. All right, let's try a tropical strawberry orange Julius. Cheers. It really tastes like one of the best strawberry daiquiris that you're ever going to have, but there's a hint of passion fruit and orange juice where if you didn't know that was in there, I don't know how much you would pick up on that. You would think that it's strawberry with some like fruity rum in the background there. And that orange juice flavor does come through a little more, especially on the finish, with just a little bit of orange curacao. It really does help drive home the orange flavor. The one thing that is so odd and different about this is this tastes more like a smoothie in terms of the texture than a slushie or your typical blender style drinks that use a lot of ice, because we used less ice than normal. It's really airy. And then we used strawberries that were frozen as well. So it kind of feels weird drinking a really light, airy, frozen cocktail, but it's still delicious. If you've never used xanthan gum in a drink or a cocktail, it's kind of a game changer. What it does is it keeps everything pretty much emulsified so it doesn't separate. If you've ever gone to Starbucks and had a frozen drink there, like a Frappuccino, they use xanthan. That's why when you make one at home without xanthan, it'll separate. The coffee kind of drops to the bottom and you have that kind of liquidy mess on the bottom and then more of the sort of slushy mixture on top. When you use xanthan, it kind of stays together. And I just made a drink a couple weeks ago for a cocktail I'm working on and wasn't even paying attention, but I left them out for about an hour. And the one with xanthan stayed incorporated and the one without separated. This is probably one of the biggest techniques people have picked up on from the Tropical Standard book. So it's something that you really do want to keep as a bar staple if you're trying blended frozen drinks. Use about 1/4 teaspoon per drink. Don't go too much more because then it turns into like a gummy and gluey mess. But that helps this thing stay together. And this actually stays together better than a real Orange Julius. The one I had a couple of weeks ago, by the time I got home, which was like 3 to 5 minutes later, a lot of the orange juice had dropped to the bottom and the airy part was on top. The one you're going to make today, if you make the original one or the cocktail, that's going to stay totally incorporated for a long time, probably hours, even at room temperature. So there you go, folks. 2 versions of an Orange Julius, the original and then a tropical strawberry version with some rum. And both are good, but if I could only have one, I'd ditch the cocktail. I just love this one. You don't have to have nostalgia for it. It just is simple and delicious. And I really do think this will be the best Orange Julius that you have ever had. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like below. Consider subscribing to the channel. If you want to support this channel more, you can check out my Patreon page. If you try this at home, let me know in the comments below what you think of it. Otherwise, see you on the next one.